Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Educational AD Podcast and our special Tuesday segments. Before we meet today's guest, we want to acknowledge our podcast partners, We Coach, the Florida Coaches Coalition, the Global Community of Women in High School Sports, and Vital Signs Wall of Fame. You've heard me say many, many times, these are four great organizations you should really add to your network. And now, don't hit that fast forward button. Stay with us for the next 3 minutes. We're going to give a shout out to our sponsors. These are all companies that I used as an athletic director, and you should be using them too. Here we go. We want to thank our good friends at Snap Raise for their support. Have you ever spent weeks and weeks on a fundraiser and then gotten little, if any, return on it? Stop right here. Go to snapraise.com/EDAD. Hands down the best online fundraiser program out there. We used it at our school with great success, and so will you. Snap also has a variety of platforms designed to help you as an athletic director besides SnapRaise. And if you go to snapraise.com, you're automatically entered in a $1,500 drawing for your next SnapRaise fundraising activity. Go to snapraise.com/EDAD to get started. We want to say thanks to Hometown Ticketing. Hometown is the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and to colleges. I don't think I need to say anything more. Go to hometownticketing.com. Their team is going to show you how to set up and sell your tickets online for all your events, not just athletics. Hometown is digital ticketing that offers more. Go to hometownticketing.com to get started. We want to thank Gipper for their support. Gipper is the official social media graphics solution for the podcast. And if you go to Gipper.com, their team is going to help you start creating world-class content for your school's social media channel. Celebrate your athletes, promote your teams. Gipper's used by over 3,000 athletic departments across the country. It's professional graphic design made simple. Go to Gipper.com, mention the podcast, you'll get a nice discount. That's Gipper.com. We also want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack. If you've never used a survey to take the pulse of your parents or your student athletes, you're really missing out. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to connect you with the parents that want to gripe about everything, but they're also going to connect you with the 98% of your parents and student athletes that support your program. That's a tremendously valuable tool to have when you're talking with a frustrated parent or maybe your principal or your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. Let them help you take your athletic program from good to great. We also want to say thanks to Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Go to their website and check out their interactive touchscreen video consoles. It's a great way to show off your school record boards, maybe your school's Hall of Fame, or simply tell your school's diverse history and share your proudest moments. Mention the podcast, you'll get a nice discount. That's vitalsignswalloffame.com. We want to thank Huddle. Go to huddle.com and change the way you see the game. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but when I became an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school, and our coaches just loved the tools that Huddle provided that let them coach our kids up to the highest level. Go to huddle.com, join the 8 million users. Turn your school into a Huddle school. We'd like to thank Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and schedule a live web demo to see their score tables and their score boards in action. That's sidelineinteractive.com. And we'd like to thank Home Campus. Home Campus is the official high school and state association management platform for us. It's also your one-stop platform for scheduling, athletic clearance and student eligibility, working with parents and coaches, you name it, Home Campus is going to help you do it. As an AD at the high school level, I used Home Campus every single day. To get started, all you have to do is go to homecampus.com. That's homecampus.com. Check them out today. Welcome back, everybody, to the Educational AD Podcast and our new Tuesday segment featuring just I'm going to say it, a terrific team. Maybe that's it. Terrific Team Tuesdays of experts from a variety of perspectives in the world of athletics. Our guest today is definitely a friend of the show. We had her on a while back. Just thought it was a wonderful interview, and she's part of our new team. Asia Mape is our guest. If you're not familiar with that name, you need to go to her website. It's called simply I Love to Watch You Play. Athletic directors have probably used that phrase with their parents a number of times, encouraging them to take that attitude. But go to the website, not right now, but go to the website, check out all the resources that she has, and she's going to share some wisdom with us today. So, Asia Mape, welcome back to the podcast.
Thanks so much, Jake. I'm happy to be here and happy to be part of the team.
Okay. Asia, again, has a tremendous background in athletics and writing. I'd love to throw this out. She's a 4-time Emmy award-winning producer, Fox, ESPN. Again, check out her bio. But Asia, what do you have for our listeners today on our special Tuesday segment?
Yeah, thanks, Jake. It's my first one. And so I thought really long and hard about sort of what was the most important topic or the thing that's sort of on top of mind for me lately. And, I really think, and even, the Aspen Institute with their Project Play came out with a new report, and, kids are still quitting. I think girls were up a little bit, but really, I think the biggest burning issue that I'm always trying to solve, or not solve, but help with really on the website. And I think a lot of people are doing great work around this, but it's this issue of kids quitting sports and not really getting what they should be getting out of it and why. And it's even bigger than quitting. It's the kids that are playing sports are stressed out and feel pressured and unhappy. And, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself there, Jake. I kind of wanted to start back in the beginning or early on. And really, I feel like adults in youth sports have lost our way. And that's everybody, really. That's the parents, the coaches, the administrators, everyone involved in youth sports. And we all have our own agendas and our own reasons for it, right? We're all working on our own little islands and our own little problems. And, for parents, a lot of us want a scholarship, notoriety, ROI, a return on all the time and money spent. Coaches are trying to keep their jobs. And, they need to get that W. And sometimes it's for them even about their own egos. Administrators, I would guess it's to keep the dollars coming in, or there won't be any sort of sports program. So we all have our own agendas. And somewhere along this path, we have forgotten about the real reason our kids need to play sports. We've lost our way. There should be one common goal for all of us, right? And it's to give children the opportunity to grow and learn about themselves through youth sports. And it seems so basic, right? Like almost out of touch with the reality of what's going on in our youth sports culture today, but it really is that simple. But here's the deal. Not only is it the right thing to focus on for the child, but it will naturally bring about a lot of these positive results that everyone is so invested in these days. And first, I'd like to make the case for logic, really. Very few kids will play past the high school level. And I know all your ADs know this, but I think it's really worth sort of looking at this part before we get to the next part. So very few kids will play past the high school level, 7% or something, with 2% maybe making it to Division I. And so for parents, especially when you look at it this way, almost every single kid that plays will take their last snap, their final swing, their last lap, their last kick, their last shot when they stop playing in high school or even sooner, because as we all know those stats, 70% stop playing at age 13 or 14. So why are we all so focused on winning and the outcomes and the all-star teams and this perfection that we're all striving for? And I think that a lot goes back to what I first mentioned, and we all have our reasons and those reasons. But for parents in particular, it turns out that youth sports aren't this great vehicle to get your kid into college and a scholarship, right? So why are we doing it? Why are we paying thousands of dollars and stressing our kids out and driving all over the country every weekend? We need to focus on the intrinsic values our kids get from sports. And now for me personally, it's my journey. It was everything. Sports have literally touched almost everything in my entire life. And it started for me like from a tough childhood as an escape. I was living in Detroit with my mom and my three brothers, and she was on welfare at the time. And we were just getting by, and sports became like my saving grace. I could lose myself on the basketball court playing pickup games or working on my shot for hours. Later, as I was getting pretty good at basketball, it became a source of confidence and it was opening doors for me. I was making new friends and learning about effort and hard work, and I could see the results paying off. I was testing my own strength and resolve. I was learning who I was and what I was capable of. Once during the playoffs in high school, I actually stepped on a rusty nail in my basement. It was the night before, I think it was like the regional playoffs. It was a huge game. I stepped on this rusty nail deep into my foot, had to go to the hospital and get a tetanus shot. And so now my right arm, I was left-handed. So now my right arm, I can barely lift. And I remember playing one of the best games I've ever played. And sports to me are things like that, where you're testing yourself, you're learning grit, you're growing. And, not just that, but like learning to work with others and being a part of this team unit. And, all those girls that I played basketball with, they were all my bridesmaids at my wedding and still my best friends. Yesterday, I was with the point guard from my high school basketball team, holding her hand at her mom's memorial. So that's my story. But there's so much more to sports than just even my story and what happened to me. The evidence and the statistics about the positive of youth sports are overwhelming. And again, I know all you ADs out there listening know a lot of this, but just bear with me. There's a point to all this and where I'm going. As you know, sports are good for their health and their mental well-being and keeping them busy and out of trouble and time away from screens, expands their friend zones, time management, leadership skills, relationship management, learning to be gracious losers and winners, handling criticism and praise, working towards a common goal with a team. And for girls, the benefits are even greater. The confidence that it gives, the girls get better grades on average, fewer unwanted pregnancies, fewer problems with drugs and alcohol abuse. And the stat that we all love to throw around, that 94% of female CEOs played sports. And there's one more thing I want to get on this topic. There's an organization called VIA that studies character, and they have this cool infographic I came upon one day, and it's all about what makes good character. And I was blown away. They have, 30 things listed on there, and almost all of them, as I read it, you can get from sports. So why have I spent so long now talking about all these great things? And a lot of you, as I said, probably know, because here's the beautiful thing, and here's the question we all need to think about. And I challenge you admins to ask parents and coaches about. Which of all those things I've mentioned and all these great character traits you can get negated if a child isn't a starter or doesn't get equal playing time or doesn't win a championship or isn't playing in the top division? Almost none of them. None. Not a one. And in fact, a lot of those that I mentioned, they even get enhanced. So now, just to reiterate and bring it all together, we've got statistics that say almost none of our kids will be playing past middle school or high school, right? We've got the statistics that tell us how good sports are for us, no matter if we win or lose or the outcome of what happens on the court. And statistics that say that kids don't even care about winning, that they just want to have fun. And it all sounds so great, right? Sports are good, kids getting good things from them. They don't even have to be good at them to get all this stuff. And it doesn't even matter because sports are a stepping stone somewhere. They are intrinsically giving and getting all this value from sports. So what is the problem? The problem is that too many kids aren't getting these benefits, that instead of gaining all these great things, They're getting more stressed and more anxious and quitting too soon. Adolescents between 15 and 21 are the most stressed out, most anxious people in our country. And adults are adding to that pressure and stress with what we are doing to them in their youth sports. We are poisoning their youth sports experience for kids. One last story that really sort of illustrates this problem. There's an Instagram, or maybe it was TikTok influencer, a kid named Jacob Rowland, and he posted this little video making fun of his dad, berating him in the car after a game. And it wasn't a big deal. And he put it up. I think it was supposed to be funny more than anything else. I don't know if it was shared with me or was on my For You page or something, but I happened to see it and notice the comments. And I think the last time I looked, it was something like 15,000 comments, all from kids, all commenting and pouring their hearts out about the pressure they felt from their parents to play sports. It was really this like tentpole moment for me. All of my work, all of what I had been doing and talking about, and really falling into a lot of those same traps. And literally, I was starting to cry as I was scrolling through these comments. It was so sad. And it really just sort of highlighted this issue and this problem. The kids felt safe because it was another kid opening up about their parents and their experiences. And it was so bleak. And it was all because of the adults in their lives, mostly their parents, who are supposed to be their biggest supporters. And I tell you, I think most of us parents, we want to do right. We think we're doing right. We just are getting it wrong in so many ways. And so really what I wanted to talk today is just, getting back to the basics, figuring out how we can all work together so that kids can actually get the benefits from youth sports. And I think the main point is that we do it together. If the admins are on board, the coaches will be on board. And if the coaches are on board, then we can get the parents on board. And the keys are going to be education, turning information like I've laid out here into knowledge, not just a pamphlet you hand out at, the first parent meeting or whatever that gets thrown in the trash or signed blindly, but by really taking the time, taking the effort, making a plan where you can really get this information out to your parents and your coaches and creating a culture that supports these ideals. And then by constant communication, parents and coaches and administrators, we need to get the trust back, have complete transparency in the planning and strategies, and then actually do it and communicate about it and talk about it. And and here's how it doesn't work, right? If we're not on the pay on blah, 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 I don't know if you can edit, but hopefully. Here's how it doesn't work. If we're not all together on the same page, it will never come to pass. We all have to be on board together with the kid and the human being that we're trying to raise and grow as the center of what we're doing around youth sports. And that's it, Jake. That's my first share on your program.
Well, you certainly didn't disappoint. Every single point, and I know I can speak for the athletic directors who are listening. That's the message that I think the vast majority are trying to share with their parents. I think the parents want to do right by their kid. I really do. I don't think they are intentionally going out there, oh, I'm going to stick it to that coach, or I'm going to, ruin my kid's life or whatever. I think they really do want to help. And I think the coaches and the ADs even more so. But it's that figuring out a way to work together, get on the same page, and finding that way to balance. And I can tell you, and you know this, and you are a high level athlete yourself. We all want to win. We do want to win, but as I've always tried to share, that winning is not the goal; it's simply an outcome of doing a lot of other things right.
Mhm.
And that is, working with the kids, developing them through sports, not because of sports. No, just a great, great message. You really hit it out of the park. Thanks so much for sharing that. Um, for our listeners, again, our guest today was Asia Mape. She was a elite college athlete. She worked in sports, from behind the camera as a producer. Tremendous career. A few years ago, she was a co-founder of the website that is I Love to Watch You Play. You really need to check it out. Add it to your list. They even have a newsletter you can sign up for. Just tremendous resources that you can share with your coaches, share with your parents, and learn a thing or two yourself. Asia, did I leave anything out about the website?
Nope, I think you got it.
Okay.
Thank you, Jake.
Well, again, we appreciate you sharing with us. Asia's going to be part of our team. You're going to hear about every 10th week. But if you want more, what do? You go to that website, sign up for the newsletter, and add I Love to Watch You Play to your list of contacts. Asia, always great hanging out with you. Wish you were over here on the East Coast instead of out there in California, but we're going to connect one day in person. Thanks for sharing, and all the best as we move towards our national conference in December.
Thank you so much, Jake.
For listeners, we do this every single week, and of course, we appreciate you listening. We also upload the Zoom recordings to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. Thanks again for listening today. Come back next Tuesday for another expert and our special Tuesday segments, and just about every day for new content on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. Hey, before we go, we do want to thank our sponsors, Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. Go to hometownticketing.com to get signed up. We want to thank Gipper. Gipper's the official social media graphic solution for the podcast. If you go to Gipper.com, their team is going to show you how to create world-class content for your school's social media channel. That's Gipper.com. We want to say thanks to Home Campus. Home Campus is your one-stop shop for scheduling, for athletic eligibility and clearance, helping parents upload forms and physicals, and a whole lot more. Go to homecampus.com. You will love it. Homecampus.com. We want to thank Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Schedule a live web demo to see their scoreboards and their score tables in action. That's sidelineinteractive.com. We want to thank Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack. If you've never used a survey to take the pulse of your parents or your student athletes, you're really missing out. Go to athleticsurveys.com. Find out all the ways they can help you with a custom survey for your athletic department. We'd like to thank Huddle. Go to huddle.com. As a football coach, I used Huddle. As an athletic director, we were a Huddle school. Go to huddle.com and get started. We want to thank Snap Mobile. Snap Mobile is the parent company. Snap Raise is their fundraising platform. Hands down, the best online fundraiser out there. It works. Go to snapraise.com/EDAD to get started. And we want to say thank you to Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Their interactive touchscreen video consoles are a great way for you to showcase your school record board, your school's Hall of Fame, or simply tell your school's most compelling stories. VitalSignsWallOfFame.com. Thanks again for joining us today. Come back next time for more great content on the Educational AD Podcast.